a Korean high school. During class, an odd thing arrives in the corridor, chasing all of the high school students screaming into the street, and only two kids, Tage and Na Woo-soo, fight back. Equipped with magical paraphernalia, the creature knocks the teenagers to the ground and leaves them lying on the floor. Tage remembers her grandmother telling her that if a girl survives her 18th birthday year, she would live a long and happy life, but would she make it through the year? It was 10 years ago. Tage is strolling around town with her grandma when she spots a boy standing on the roof. She grabs her granddaughter's hand and rushes toward the building, saying nothing. Meanwhile, the man on the roof has no idea what is happening to him, but there is nothing he can do since some force is pushing him closer and closer to the edge. His mother notices the kid from the ground. She invites the adolescent to come down, but his eyes light up yellow, and he informs her, laughing, that he is about to terminate his life. Old Hyo-shim is exhausted by the trek and collapses on the steps. She tells her granddaughter to go on without her, reciting the spell that is intended to keep the creature from taking over the boy, and the girl hesitantly goes to the roof. The monster mocks the girl and tells her that if she had been 18, he would have chopped her off without looking. Do-shim's magic fails because it is too weak for such a powerful creature. The monster promises to see the girl later, and the guy is dragged away, with no one noticing the black smoke rising from him. After transforming into a sphere, the entity approaches Hyo-shim and offers her a large sum of money if she would cease blocking it from controlling and killing affluent youngsters. But the elderly woman isn't interested in wealth, so she produces a bag from her pocket and puts the monster into it, sealing it away for good. While the elderly woman is focused on the soul of the kid who fell from the roof, a mysterious stranger emerges from around the corner. Do-shim discovers the grandma with a dagger in her heart. As she dies, the elderly woman warns the child to be cautious and to protect herself from evil spirits. The soul of the old woman takes the deceased youngster by the hand and leads him to another planet. Many years pass. Do-shim visits her grandmother's grave, and a ghost approaches her, which does not surprise her. She continues to behave as if nothing is wrong and refuses to inform anybody about the fact that the ghosts of the dead continuously follow her about. Do-shim, in particular, keeps the secret from her mother, who deceives others by claiming to be a clairvoyant. Not wanting to be a part of the farce, the girl requests that the mother simply drive her to a different school. Do-shim arrives to her new classroom only to discover that one of the pupils has fallen over the roof. Only Na Woo-soo welcomes the new girl with admiration as all the high school kids gather eagerly at the window. Despite her unwillingness to become involved in her mother's hoax, Do-shim is forced to do so when another customer is attacked by an evil spirit and the child must save her. This time, her magic gets stronger, and the entity departs from the boy's body, leaving him alone. Do-shim visited a new class for the first time after this occurrence and spotted Na Woo-soo. Ka-soo-jo, one of the top pupils, becomes acquainted with the newcomer right away. She cautions the girl that their school has an odd rule that everyone who gets terrible grades dies by accident. The school principal intimidates the instructors by forcing them to inform them that the boy who jumped over had difficulties with his parents in order to protect the school's image. The supervisor turns around, fearing that someone is observing him, and begins to check the names of the deceased pupils off a long list. Back at home, Do-shim tells his mother what occurred at school, and the shaman gleefully phones the principal to obtain the phone number of the deceased kid, hoping to profit from their misfortune. The kid who died 10 years ago has been hiding in Do-shim's chamber all these years, hoping that the girl's mother will arrange for him to meet her parents. Do-shim hopes that no one in the class discovers her skills. But Woo-soo's parents inform him that the new girl is the daughter of a true shaman. Woo-soo is skeptical. He believes the girl was brought to class to spy on him. The new female was rumored to have been adjacent to the dead person during the fall. According to the class, she becomes uneasy, and Woo-soo continues to bug her with weird inquiries. When Do-shim has had enough, she starts to go, but the guy rubs her against him and urges her to remain. Woo-soo's body is left by Grandma's spirit, and the guy has no idea why he's holding the girl in the midst of class. At the same time, something is attempting to escape from the school's basement, which is sealed with mystical symbols. Woo-soo gets mocked by his classmates as a result of his hug, so he resolves to tell Do-shim what occurred. In the playground, an elderly woman's soul takes him once again and tells him that an evil spirit is there. He is responsible for the killings of the teenagers. From the outside, it appears that the classmates are hugging again, but they are separated by the evil spirit's flow, and both young men fall to the ground. Woo-soo awakens in the hospital and discovers that, like Do-shim's old buddy, he can see ghosts. The girl must calm down her friend, who is persuaded that the new female is to blame for his visions. Finally, the youth must split ways and go their separate ways. The leaving Do-shim is being observed by the headmaster, who is clutching a spirit bag. He reminds the monster that it can only occupy individuals who are at the bottom of their class. The girl is welcomed home by an old ghost buddy. The young guys try to find out why Woo-soo saw a ghost and if it was related to Grandma's visit. Meanwhile, the boy returns home, and a ghost appears in front of him once more, terrifying the adolescent. Woo-soo meets his buddy and tells him what has been going on all day, but the friend believes Woo-soo is simply overworked. Do-shim must be visited by the lad. He is prepared to offer his classmate the entire sum of money to get things back on track, but the girl can only show him the faraway realm in which he now has to dwell. The youngster is terrified by the multitude of spirits that surrounds him on all sides and flees. He tries to convince himself that it's all a dream, but even on the bus, he encounters ghosts and has nowhere to flee. The next day, Woo-soo does not show up to school, sparking further allegations that the new girl did something to him. The news about a school inspection that the principal refuses to cancel despite the occurrences heats up. Woo-soo learns from her mother at home that her classmates' parents had phoned her, and she decides to accompany her on the call. Woo-soo's mother, in sobs, informs the shaman that her son has gone insane, that he's been screaming all night and chasing someone unseen away from him. Do-shin requests that his mother leave the room and scatter the spirits. She tries to assist her classmate by creating symbols that are intended to safeguard the room. The youngster manages to gather himself, and he tells his mom that everything is okay now because of his new friend Do-shim. The group goes for a walk and visits a cafe with Woo-soo's buddy, Illinois Nam. He makes fun of his friend again, but Do-shim greets him on behalf of his late father, and he has to believe that his parent wishes him to do well on his test. Do-shim tells his companion a lot about the world they're in together on the walk home, and for that, he embraces her again, this time from himself. The big day is here. Do-shim must keep an eye not only on her job, but also on Il-nam, who continues to tumble asleep and risks failing the test. Woo-soo can't get over the moment he held Do-shim, so he crumples up a symbol sheet and welcomes the spirits in. Each of them informs the person about his own death, unable to bear the cross alone. Finally, the youngster speaks out, telling the spirits of the love he feels in his heart, but none of them know what to do about it. Do-shim spots her buddy outside her house and cautions the young shaman to keep away from Woo-soo, whom she likes. The girl must ignore her companion in order to avoid further difficulties in class. Do-shim recounts her first day of school, when tragedy happened before her eyes and she sensed the presence of an evil spirit. Fearing for the safety of her companions, the girl alerts Woo-soo that a horrible power is at work in their school. Soo-jo attempts to spend all of her time with the guy, but he requests to be left alone and admits that he wants to be near Do-shim. But Do-shim tries to avoid difficulty and tells her friend that she isn't ready to be friends with him. Soo-jo informs the entire class that Do-shim's mother is a shaman, and the girl is bombarded with stupid jokes and inquiries once more. The instructor, who has come to announce the exam results, has taken everyone's attention away from the girl. Il-nam is the worst student, despite her best attempts. Do-shim is so angry with his friend that they fight, but he is determined to preserve Il-nam at whatever cost. Meanwhile, the headmaster goes down to the basement and unlocks the magical lock, allowing the monster to escape. The lads don't have time to escape the school when a cloud of black smoke erupts nearby, visible only to Wusu. Du-shim observes that both males are absent from class, but she tries not to dwell on it. She arrives at the gym just as her pals are fleeing the terrible ghost. The shamans surround Il-nam on all sides, and Du-shim orders the lads to flee as soon as she distracts the thing from them. The pals flee the school and seek refuge in an underground parking garage, where Il-nam requests that his pal explain what is going on. Du-shim goes after the black smoke that is following the boys to keep it from destroying them. Wusu realizes the monster has discovered them and attempts to lead his companion away again, but the entity finds a body to assist him in carrying out his plan. The monster corners the lads after inhabiting a parking lot employee. The young shaman attempts to stop the beast, but his skills are insufficient. Both men find up in the clutches of the enormous guy, until Du-shim and a swarm of her invisible pals arrive. The spirits imprison the villain, while the allies abduct Il-nam. Wusu thanks her buddy once more for her assistance. The girl is required to give her pals the entire narrative, beginning with that fateful day 10 years ago. The corporation recognizes that someone in charge of the school is participating. The upside is that the pupils are terrified to die and everyone wants to study better, elevating the school's status. The monster waits for his victim beneath the door, but the principal pulls him into a sack, assuring that he would get another chance soon, but it is not worth claiming in the interim. Du-shim, the old man's spirit companion, apprehends him on the spot. Il-nam does not accept the narrative about the bad spirit, but the girl persuades him once again by giving him a few stories that only he and his father are aware of. Du-shim requests that the youngster conserve himself in order to live his 18th birthday year. The female also reveals to Wusu why he is so close to his friend, revealing that they were linked in a previous life. Wusu, in turn, informs her companion that he envisions a future in which they will undoubtedly prosper.